I'm Steve Kemp, played safety 1986 through 1990.
Steve Kemp wore jersey number 1, and he always had these like muscular arms coming out from his jersey. And but he was a great guy. You would think he was kind of intimidating, but he's not. He was actually a really good guy.
Steve Kemp, very underrated player. Steve was extremely talented player. He was one of the top recruits in the state of California coming out his senior year. Could have went to a lot of different schools.
Versatile, played quarterback, great arm, humble, the model. I think he's one of the Barge family.
And I remember his hair. It was like he'd take off his helmet and everything, but his hair was always good looking. Like he was a clean cut, good looking guy. He was that guy that you're always like, I don't want my girlfriend to ever see this guy because she might leave me for this guy.
And he was a very heady player, very skilled player, and enjoyed the big spotlight, the big moment.
I wanted to get out of the Bay Area, so I had San Jose State, which was highly recruiting me. And then Cal offered me a trip, and I knew I wasn't going to stay in the Bay, so I didn't even take a trip to Cal. So from there, I went to Washington State wanted me to play quarterback and run the option in the Pac-10. And I said to myself, no, I'm not running the option in the Pac-10. And so I'm not even going to take a trip to Washington State. So that left Oregon State and Oregon. So San Jose State was out. It was left between Oregon State and Oregon. I had no choice. I have a friend that was in high school that I played with, and he went to Oregon State. So when I went on my trip to Oregon State, I basically told him, I said, listen, I'm just coming to hang out. I'm not coming to Oregon State. I'm not coming. So I ended up going to Oregon. At the beginning it was challenging to a certain extent, but I went in knowing that there was going to be a transition and it may be difficult. So my first year, I really didn't do anything. It was library and school and just practicing, working out. I embraced the change. That's what I wanted. That's why I left the Bay Area, so I can go somewhere else. So going somewhere else, to me, I enjoyed it. My cousin, the year before, went to Washington, and we grew up playing football together, and he got homesick. I remember his freshman year, he was calling back, man, I miss it, man. And I heard that story a lot, that people would get homesick. And I was fortunate that I did not have that. I was ready to get out. I left, and I was happy to be in Eugene, and it was great. Terry, Chris, and myself played in the California Shrine game. It was the North against the South. And we had already committed to Oregon. So there was some bonding already taking place. Now, Correll, Robinson, and Derek, I knew from track in high school. And we communicated and we talked about Oregon. So we knew we had a group of guys that were going to go up there that committed to it. Now, in terms of the past, the Oregon's history, we didn't think that, hey, let's group together and come on, let's make a change. It was like, hey, let's go to Oregon and make it happen. I mean, we feel that our abilities, we can go up there and we can make a change in terms of just being competitive. Now, when we got up there, we were all in the UI, the class of 86, a lot of us in the UI, and I started to see the competitiveness from all of us. We would go in the back and play basketball, and we all had that hidden, I'm better. You cannot hold me. And we all felt that. And we just didn't act it. We really believed, you're not better than me. There's no way you can hold me. And that translated onto the field. And it was that competitive edge, I think, that brought the team and that group of guys really up. No, it was really exciting, working out with those guys, and we each made each other better. Yeah, with Chris, it was Derek and Terry who started, pure freshmen, and that was amazing. And seeing that those two took the front, were on stage early on, that said a lot about our class. And then Bill came in, and then Chris started playing real early. And so, yeah, I think we knew that we had something special. And then Tony came on, and things really started to happen. In terms of the past, there were some great players. You got Chris, and you got Newman, Zimmerman came up, Lou,
Cliff Hicks.
Cliff. There's a lot of great players that played before us, but there was something about that '86 that just brought it together. A lot of it, I believe, Coach Radcliffe. I think that's when it just turned. Not taking anything away from Coach Clark. He was doing the workouts, the strength part of the workouts. And Coach Rad was doing the conditioning. Coach Toledo and I believe Clark went to Texas A&M. And that's when Coach Rad took over. And it just seemed right from that moment, it changed. The culture changed. We bought into his philosophy, into his system, plyometrics. And we're thinking, plyometrics? You got me running around, jumping around like a rabbit or something, like a gazelle. But we started to really see the impact of his workouts and what they were doing to us, the change.
Right.
And so that helped us a lot. It was my sophomore year. I was on the scout team, and we were getting ready to play Colorado, and they had Stewart as the quarterback from Colorado. And because I ran the option and I could throw, they wanted me to play Stewart during the fall camp to prepare us for that first game in Colorado. And I think I lit it up. Because I was doing things. I was throwing the rock. I was running. I was causing chaos for the defense. And I remember we went over there and we won. And Anthony Newman, when he got back, he said, you gave us a better look than Stewart. And I said, wow. So, I said, I must have something, if I'm able to run with these guys. Oh, I do remember the cold. I remember the shoes. We painted the shoes the night before. But I remember coming out of the game, and they had the heaters that were on the ground. And it was so cold that I burned a hole into my shoe because it was so close to the heater. My feet were frozen, and I just kept it there. And I smelled something, and what is that? And I looked down, and my shoe was smoking, and I said, oh man, yeah, it was, the coldest I've ever been in any type of weather playing football. No, it was going back to the '89. Yeah, I'm not going to blame the game on me. But unfortunately, I think I had a lot to do with it. I missed a receiver. I didn't see him, and by the time I got over to him, they had snapped the ball. He did a post on me, and he got down to like the 10, and then he scored. They ended up winning. So that 1990 season, you know, we were really, really hungry and waiting for him. Usually each week we prepare for a team just within that 5-day period.
Right.
But BYU, we started a week before. So we were watching whoever we were playing that week, but we would also throw in some BYU for the following week. So I knew it was very important to Coach Schuler, being the defensive coordinator, that he wanted to get a piece of them. And Ty Detmer, being on this Heisman watch, definitely he wanted to get a piece of them. And I contribute that success of that game to Coach Schuler, because he came up with a game plan that just shut him down. I mean, it was obvious. I mean, you watch the game and you can see that they didn't, that was probably their least scoring yardage games they probably ever had. But yeah, no, the hype was there. Brent Musburger was there, ABC. I mean, it was big. You could feel the energy for that week in that game. Oh yes, I mean, it was amazing, the energy that day. I mean, their first, I believe, 3-4 drives, they didn't do anything. And I think it was that momentum that just carried through the game. I don't know if you remember, but Marcus Woods had the 2-point bump, you know, and knocked him down and got the safety. And the roar on the field was amazing. Now, when we're out there in the center of it, there's a different sound as opposed to watching a game. And when you're out there, it's just a high pitch. That's all you hear, and it was so high. It's 3rd and 10, and BYU is known for, you know, they're going to get 15 yards on a play or a score. So the crowd played a major impact. It was Schuler. I mean, Schuler, he had a game plan that he really dissected that offense, and he figured it out. He said, I can stop it. And we basically were just playing a bracket. And we would just, you know, I would watch the running back. If he went out or if he blocked, would determine what I would do. And sometimes he would have to stay and block, so that would allow me to help one of the receivers, one of the DBs, and we would bracket them. And so, like Daryl, for example, would play on the outside and I would play on the inside. I'm not going to let this guy come inside me, and Daryl's not going to let him outside. Well, yeah, it is probably the 81-yarder. We were playing Arizona State at home, and it was, again, I was playing a bracket. I was watching the running back. He came up the block. I turned and looked at the receiver. The receiver was doing a quick in. I floated over to him, looked at the quarterback, and the ball's in the air. And boom, I'm down the sideline. And when I got to the end zone, I turned around and I just couldn't believe. I just didn't pick six this. I know it didn't happen. I'm looking for flags. Yeah, it was a little, I would say, not really frustrating, but kind of disappointing to go out with a loss. But looking back at the whole career, that whole class of '86, I would say that we made some major milestones at the university, and we did really well, and it was a close game. It would have been nice to have won the game, obviously, but it didn't put a damper on what we accomplished. And that's, I think, the most important thing, is that over that season of '86 through '90, the program took a giant leap. I tried out for a Canadian for the Eskimos up in Canada, and it didn't work out, and that enabled me to put closure on my career. You know, playing football as a little kid, I was able to cap it off. You know, I tried, it didn't work out, and I moved on, and I was working in pharmaceuticals up in Seattle for a while after I graduated, and then I decided to move to LA, and that's where I am now, to pursue an acting career. And I did that for about maybe 5 years, and then I met my lovely wife, and you know, I became a deputy probation officer at LA County. I have 4 beautiful children, and you know, that's where I am today. I don't know, just being a part of that 86 class, and you know, making a change.